And talking about job seekers and other challenges faced by the IT BPO industry, IBPAP, or the IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines, is set to hold the biggest HR summit this coming November. And to talk to us about this event, as well as other emerging trends, we have with us live in studio, Cathy Salceda-Ileto, IBPAP Vice Chair, and Rey Untal, President and CEO of IBPAP. Good morning. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about how competitive is our local training compared to that of our peers.
From a country competitiveness standpoint, we can see some of the best practices would be from India, for example, in Singapore. Okay. You'll see that in India, for example, I was just there in January this year. We met with Invest India, and they were really promoting and pushing for Skills India. It's a very good platform where public sector, private, and the academia work together. It's fully subsidized as well by the government, and that's a typical framework that's supposed to be successful when you talk about career mapping, talent upskilling and reskilling, and that's something that we hope to achieve as well here in the Philippines through IBPAP.
How is the career portal doing here in the Philippines? How far have we come in the past few years?
Career portal is going to be launched at the upcoming Industry Awareness Fair on November 5, 2018 at the SMX Aura. It's free. So we invite everyone to drop by if you're a newly graduate or if you're from the academe, a teacher, or a parent. And basically, even if you're from other industries, you want to shop for careers, it's easy. You can see where you need to go or careers, cherry-pick careers from our 6 subsectors, whether it's in the shared services sector, the captives, we call them the GICs. You want to be in IT, jobs in tech, software developers, in the creative, animation, gaming industry, or with the back office.
Yeah, we were talking about Accenture earlier on and how soft skills are required in order to succeed in this varied economy right now because of all of the developments. What can you say about these soft skills? Are we really equipped as of right now?
We had been asked before exactly what the jobs of the future are, because that is essentially what we want to be dealing with. And while there has been a lot of statements in terms of predicting what the evolution of jobs will be, we assess that it's going to be really difficult for us to ascertain the jobs over the next 5 years, 7 years, and 10 years. And so our approach has been to instead identify what are the skills that are needed for the jobs of the future. And I think Accenture is spot on when they looked at soft skills being, at the center of what we want to cultivate. Because if we look at the perfect employee of the future, it will have to be a combination of fantastic communication skills, highly critical in their thinking, very high EQ as well, and coupled with the ability to adapt to changes and very tech savvy, which is effectively what I'm describing is the Filipino workforce. And that's the model that we are shooting for, and the programs that we have created revolves around that as well.
But sir, you mentioned this is the model of the Filipino workforce, and a lot of us agree with that, but a lot abroad also agree with that, and that's why we see a lot of people going abroad. How do we keep these kind of people, these talents, staying in our country?
And that's the beauty of the industry that we are in. Not a lot of people may know this, but we are employing in excess of 1 million Filipinos now. And the fact that we continue to grow, and not just grow in the metro cities, but also in the countryside, is a testament that, here, in this particular industry, you can succeed without having to leave the country. And there are so many stories that we can share around that. And, I, for one, is an example. I've had a chance to work abroad as well during the course of my career. And eventually I said, a career in the Philippines is so much better. And there are, it's something that we really want to push for and push for hard. Because we believe that, with this industry, we're able to, once again, as we always say, develop a larger middle class.
But ma'am, we've also seen this particularly in the financial tech space. For example, digital payments, even, so people are tech savvy, people are ready, but do we have the infrastructure in this country to push these skill sets, higher?
So we work closely with the government, right? There are two line agencies that we're collaborating with. One is the Department of Trade and Industry, and the other one is the DICT, right? The Department of Information Communications Technology. We are working on capability development with DICT. A lot of this is in partnership with the private sector and the industry, right? Specific on AI, for example, we have forged a partnership with DICT. Now, I mentioned DTI. When you have your skills, you need the demand to come in, right? So from a demand generation perspective, DTI is working closely with us, so we create country sale platforms, right? Support those emerging sectors like the creative services, for example. Make sure that the GICs keep their radar within, the Philippines, this geo. There's a tremendous opportunity to bring more of these Fortune 500s here in the Philippines. They're, in fact, our best brand ambassadors, right? If they set up shop here, then the world knows that the Filipino talent is ready to serve the world.
We were talking about how to avoid having the Filipino talent go abroad, no? But then how is the local BPO industry doing? Is there still some upside?
Certainly. If you look at the past year, we have definitely seen growth. Obviously, not as fast as how we have seen this before.
Slow, yes.
But then, we're looking after a larger base now. And that's why, in the upcoming Innovation Summit, we will unveil the latest study that we have on the industry. We will be sharing the latest numbers in terms of headcount growth, in terms of revenue growth, and I'm sure many people will be excited to hear about those updates.
Can you nuance a bit your targets, especially for IBPAP? What are your growth targets for the industry? And as you mentioned, it's so hard to predict even 5 years, 7 years, what it should be. What will you be focusing on in the next coming years?
So in the Roadmap 2022, which we've launched in 2016, the last 2 years, we've been working on what we call the high impact programs, right? Specific to innovation, for example. Those are the major pillars that will drive our growth and pivot to the next frontier. The other pillar is on talent. We have this career marketing initiatives. One high impact program, or HIP, we call it a HIP, is the upskill and reskill, and the other one is on a talent subsidy framework. The other one would be within my purview as chair of the Technical Working Group on Country Competitiveness, where we keep tab of our ranking as a country. Right? So the Tholon's ranking came in. It's, welcome news that the Philippines has started to move up again, right? From that ranking. And there are a lot of factors that we're looking at. Your policy environment, for example, business environment. For you to be competitive, you need to keep your competitiveness ranking there based on sound policy and government framework, right? Are you encouraging investors to come in? Are you a friendly labor environment, for example? So those are our, specific targets. On the numbers, I'll leave it to Rey to, share our growth trajectory and headcount and revenue growth.
So what we said in the roadmap is that over the next 4 or 5 years, we will be growing this industry by a net add of about 100,000 new jobs year on year. So that's a lot. And more than the number of jobs that we are planning to generate, it's really the pivot towards the medium to high value jobs at the same time.
Higher skilled.
Correct. And this is becoming a familiar refrain now, but the growth that we have seen in the past is not the growth that we will be seeing in the future because of the evolution of demands as well, especially in the context of the digital disruption that we are all in now. And that's why, all of the conversation that we had earlier in terms of the partnership with government, with academia, they are key pillars to us undertaking this substantial and complex program to intervene for the good of the industry moving forward.
Right, we'll ask one last question before we let you go. We're talking about the International Innovation Summit for 2018. When and where, and how is this different from others in the past?
Okay, so the International Innovation Summit, or the IIS, is in partnership with Everest. They're our content partner, a global analyst firm, and working with all of these subsectors that I've mentioned earlier, the GICs, contact center, back office, the creative services, and all of these are converging in one huge unified country cell platform to just basically say the Philippines is open for business, and you are, invited to come and in fact cover the event. We will have thought leaders. We'll be flying in thought leaders from all over the world, from the U.S. We have a blockchain expert, for example, that's speaking. There will be a specific slice on the workforce of the future, which we've been tackling the last few minutes in this program. The other one would be on innovation. There will be a great discussion on human plus tech as well. That's one of the panels. And it will be opened with a keynote from Everest, our content provider, content partner, to talk about the trends in the global services delivery. Right. So you will also see a lot of the subsectors breakout sessions. There will be analysts moderating those, specific to healthcare, for example, a very sexy industry now to be part of. It's growing really fast. And also one slice on the emerging creative services and software development industry. So again, we invite everyone to attend the International Innovation Summit, November 12 and 13 at the Shangri-La BGC Fort.
All right, more and more exciting times from the IBPAP. Once again, that was Rey Untal, President and CEO, and Ms. Cathy Salceda-Ileto, the Vice Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.